Hi everyone! Today's video is about attraction and reducing uncertainty. I'm your professor, Dr. Jennie Rosier. Let's get started. Okay, so there is so much research on attraction. What makes people attracted to others, what kinds of features are considered most attractive, what men think are attractive, what women think are attractive, and some of that research is going to be in the video I'm going to have you watch this week. So I'll talk about a little bit of it. So in general, in the United States, attractive faces are considered ones that are symmetrical. But not perfectly symmetrical, just mostly symmetrical. So that just means that one side of the face, it looks the same as the other side of the face, and there isn't one eye that's up higher than the other or a mouth that is crooked, something like that. It's not always dramatic though. Most faces, if you put them in a computer to analyze them for symmetry, most faces are not perfectly symmetrical, but we do tend to be more physically attracted to men and women who have more symmetrical faces. Interestingly, attractive female faces have more baby-like features: big eyes, small nose, pouty lips, delicate chin. All of these things are considered very physically attractive on women by men. Now, men, on the other hand, most women tend to view male faces as attractive when they have a strong jawline, prominent cheekbones, and a broad forehead. So these are all things that are considered to be attractive, and if you've read the chapter on attraction already, you've seen that I put lots of celebrity faces that have these characteristics. So there's been research studies done where they've analyzed celebrity facial features, and the celebrities that are in your chapter, those are the celebrities that have the highest scores on these tests for attractive facial features. Now, Dr. Helen Fisher is a biological anthropologist, and she is a leading researcher on love and attraction. And she has come up with this idea called the 3 brain systems. So she calls them romantic love brain systems. And she says that these 3 things combine to help us determine if we are attracted to someone or not. So yes, there are certain facial features that people generally find as more physically attractive, but as you all know, many of you feel like you have a certain type, and your type other people don't think is attractive, but you do. And so that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Well, it's this, Helen Fisher would argue that it's this 3 brain system concept that can answer why you might think one person's attractive and someone else might not. So it's lust, attraction, and attachment. So lust is your craving for sexual gratification. We all have it, some of us more than others. Attraction is your craving for romantic love, and attachment is your craving for close social contact. And so these 3 things combine to create this brain system that helps us interact with people and make determinations pretty quickly if we are physically, emotionally, spiritually attracted to them. So many of you are in this class and you are currently trying to meet someone new. Well, there's a couple things that researchers have discovered that can help or hinder your ability to meet someone that you find to be attractive. So the first thing I want to talk about is this idea of the mere exposure effect. It's the notion that we tend to like people and things that we see more often. So things that we are around more often. If you're from another state, you may have felt like if you're from another state and then you're in Virginia, you may have felt like sometimes you see someone and they look like they're from your state, right? So let's say you're from New Jersey and you're walking around campus, you're like, oh, that girl looks like she's a New Jersey girl, or that guy looks like he's a New Jersey guy. It's this idea that you are used to being around people who look and act a certain way, and we tend, not always, but tend to be attracted to people and things that we see very often. And so a lot of times where you grew up is often, not always, but often the kind of person that you tend to be attracted to. And so we like people who are similar to us in some way, either physically similar to us, or similar to us in that we have similar hobbies or we have similar values or beliefs. And so that whole idea of do birds of a feather flock together or do opposites attract? Yes, both are true. Neither one is more true than the other. But when we are first thinking about our initial attraction to people, we tend to like birds of a feather flock together. Relationships are very successful if you are similar or opposite from your partner. There's no like one is more successful than the other. But just in our general attraction to people, we tend to like people who are similar to us. In the past, most couples were introduced to each other through family and friends, but now the internet is number one. It's the number one way that people are connected to one another. So if you have been concerned or worried about meeting someone online before, go ahead. Lots of people are meeting online. In fact, the majority of people are meeting online. Okay, so let's say that you are looking for someone new, or you are at the very beginning of a relationship. There is a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of worry about if this person is someone that you can be in a long-term relationship with, right? What we get into relationships for the most part with the goal of seeing if it could work out for the long haul. And so we're trying to reduce uncertainty from the beginning, because being with a new person is very uncertain. You're very worried about what that person is like and if you're going to work out. And so we work really hard to try to figure out what the person is like so that we can predict and sometimes control their behavior. And I think that idea of control gets a bad rap. I'm not saying control their behavior like be their boss or be their parent. I'm saying that we want to be able to know if we say A, B, and C, our partner will react in a certain way. And so I'm going to not say A and I'm going to say B and C because I want them to react in a different way. Right? We do this with everyone we're in a relationship with. You do this with your friends, you do this with your parents, and we do it with our romantic partners too. We try to figure out who they are, how they will react to things, how they behave, so that we can predict their behavior and maybe sometimes control their behavior. Relationship uncertainty is when people have questions about the state of the relationship. Like, are we even in a relationship? Are we exclusive? Are we going to be together next month, next year, 10 years from now? Is this someone that I could start a life with? Is this someone I could have children with? Is this someone I want to go out with again? Right? We have all of these questions in our head that we are constantly trying to answer. There is actually a theory behind this idea, and it's called uncertainty reduction theory. Really basic. Uncertainty reduction theory claims that we all have uncertainty in our lives and we want to reduce it. So we want to be able to not be uncertain, right? Uncertainty can give us anxiety, it can give us worry, it can make us angry, it can make us sad, it can make us depressed. You guys have experienced a lot of uncertainty with the global pandemic, and it doesn't feel very good. Even with the most secure people, with the highest self-esteem and the most confidence, the pandemic is wearing on us. We are not okay. So we don't like having uncertainty. We want to know what's going to happen next. And so we're really motivated to reduce that uncertainty. In order to reduce it, we talk to other people and we talk with the person we're in a relationship with to try to figure that out. So this is where self-disclosure comes in. We self-disclose something. We listen to our partner's self-disclosure. We're really trying to reduce some of this uncertainty about the relationship. And then we also talk with other people. So we might say, hey, best friend, what do you think about this new person in my life? Do you like him? Do you like her? Do you think that he's a good relationship partner? Do you think she's a good catch? And so we talk to other people, but we also talk to the person we're in a relationship with to try to reduce the uncertainty. And again, we do this so that we can predict their behavior, sometimes control their behavior. But we do this throughout the entire relationship. Uncertainty reduction doesn't ever change. Doesn't ever end. Sometimes it gets less. So in the beginning, you're doing a lot of uncertainty reduction. You're doing a lot to try to reduce that uncertainty. And at a certain point, you get a little comfortable and you feel like you know a lot about the person. But we are constantly trying to figure out how someone will react, especially someone we're spending our life with, how someone will react when we communicate in a certain way or do something or want to do something, how we can get them to be on board with us. And so we are always trying to reduce uncertainty. In the textbook, we talk about 3 different ways that we seek information. One is passive. This is where you just watch and we're going to talk about romantic partners. So this is where you just watch your current romantic partner and you observe their behavior and you try to get information, seek information from just watching them. So you watch them interact with other people, you watch them interact with you maybe, you watch them interact by themselves, you watch them at work, you just watch them and you say, okay, so this is the kind of person they are, and it helps you to reduce some of the uncertainty you were having about who they are and if your relationship could work. There's also active. This is where you ask a third party. So you ask your best friend, what do you think about my new partner? And then there's interactive, where you talk with the person, and that's where a lot of that self-disclosure comes in. So you're asking them questions, they're asking you questions. You're getting to know each other so that you can reduce uncertainty. Sometimes, though, getting new information doesn't always reduce uncertainty. Sometimes it can actually increase uncertainty. So let's say that you're communicating with your partner and you find out that they have a different political view than you on something that's kind of important to you, right? I think that lots of people think, oh, well, it's not a big deal to have different political opinions. But if it's something that is a soapbox for you, or it's something that's really important to you, it can be really detrimental to your relationship if your partner doesn't have the same view. It can be difficult. And so that could increase your uncertainty. So at first you thought, hey, yeah, everything's going great. And then you're like, my uncertainty is at a normal level and I'm fine. And then you find out your partner disagrees with you on something, heavily disagrees with you on something that is really important to you. Now your uncertainty kind of increases. Can I be with this person who thinks this? Can I have a long-lasting relationship? Can we avoid this topic? Or can we have a conversation where one of us agrees with the other? What can happen, right? So our uncertainty is increased several times throughout a relationship. It happens throughout the course of the relationship. You learn something about your partner and then your uncertainty goes up. Or you learn something about your partner and your uncertainty is reduced. It really can go either way at any point in a relationship. Well, that's a wrap. I'm Dr. Jennie Rosier, Associate Professor of Communication Studies at James Madison University. I'm also the director of the RLH Project. You can find me on Instagram at Relationships Love Happiness or on Facebook at /Relationships Love Happiness. Thanks for watching.